Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that bit of footage. We've got the R.55 single-ended diesel. These came along in 1955, but they gained the red cab in 58. So I think this one may be a little bit later than that because it has the Mark II couplings. So I've stopped it there. I'm just going to open some points. We'll run that around onto the inner line. So I'll just reach over. Actually, I've got to look behind me because I've lost track of where the points are. So we're going to change that one to curved. Railway's all set up as one today. Well, for now it is anyway, so we'll switch that one to curved as well. There we go. And I actually want to do this one as well, so we can run it around so we can have a look at it and the catalogue as well. So I'm fumbling for the switches. There we go. And I suppose, no, we'll bring it around there, and then we'll have a look at the catalogue. So if I grab the controls. Let's just go up above here. We'll dial in a little bit of power. All being well, trundle under there and through the points. We've got these three sort of interesting looking box cars on here. We'll drag it around there through the diamond. And then we'll just have a bit of a stop there. I'm just going to pop the controls down over here and grab my notes again whilst we're at it. So a nice bright sunny day again. I think we're the 30th of April today, so the year really is marching on. So yeah, that has the red cab. That's going a little bit closer there. So I think they made various versions of these for the Canadian and possibly the Australian market a bit later on as well. So that's quite a tidy condition. We'll whip it off the rails and have a look in a moment. So that's R.136, the long box car. So these have got the Speedy Service written on the side. So that one's in sort of a reddy pink colour. And then we've got one in brown. And then we've got one in grey. So they were sort of 58 to 65. And then we've got the caboose at the end. R.115, 54 to 65. That's one I've pinched off the back of another train. The reddy pink one, this one has Mark III couplings. The other two have the Mark II couplings. So let's just have a quick look in the catalogue while we're at it. So this is the 58 catalogue. And we can see the single-ended diesel there with the red cab. Let's just swing around and have a look at the other single-ended diesel I've got on, sort of a more original-looking one. We'll move the water crane out of the way and we can see that there. So that's how it originally showed up, more or less like that, although I have replaced the decals on the front of that one. So a variation of that, and obviously we've got the different couplings on this one over here. So I'll just grab the catalogue. So we've got it sitting nicely on the cover. I've got loads of locomotives on the cover of this. Whoops, just taken that the wrong way. We'll flip through here. We won't get too bogged down in it. We'll flip straight through to the TC items. We've got a price list here. We'll see if we can find it on the price list in a moment as well. Further through than I thought. There we go. That looks pretty good there, doesn't it? So we've got that sitting on the page there. We've got the B unit behind it as well. Actually, that's not the B unit, that's a dummy unit, isn't it? So we've got a dummy unit of it there, and then we've got some coaches behind it. And a nice side view of the powered unit and the dummy unit there. So let's swing through to the other page. Here we go. So there it details the diesel locomotive electric with working headlamp. R.55, and then the dummy unit, which we just saw it with there, would be R.57, and there we go. We've got the B unit, which, as far as I can see, is the same type of unit as the one we've got over here. Let's just swing round gently over here. We've got one sitting behind this locomotive there in the station. It's got those second series TC coaches on there. Makes it a great train. Perhaps we'll get that running with this freight train in a moment. And we'll just flick through here and have a look at the freight cars here. So there we've got the long box car, although it appears slightly different here. We've got a thistle on the side of it. So yeah, 136 long box car, sliding doors. So quite an interesting looking wagon. So mine's got all three of the ones I have black roofs. Let's just swing back up there and have a look over there. So I thought that made quite an interesting train. Let's have a glance at this price list. I'd forgotten the price list here. So transcontinental locomotives. There we got R.55 BV diesel. We've got the price there, is that 59 and 6. And then we've got the dummy unit there. I'm struggling to see the price there. Is that 18? Yeah, it looks like it might be 18 there. Let's go for the wagon, Transcontinental Series wagons. There we've got that. So if we look down here, it's almost at the bottom. It says long box car, and there's no price there. So there's an asterisk. I can't pronounce that word this morning. So it just says available later. So we'll pop those away. Let's grab that. Put that down out of harm's way for a moment. Well, as out of harm's way as we can get. And if I switch this point here, we'll drag it back onto that outer line. We'll just run it around a bit more. Grab the controls. So it does light up, but you've got to be just at the right angle to see this in action. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to get that. Yeah, you've got to get down lower. Some of that footage I shot earlier, you can see it just as you catch it. They do have a little bit of a wobble, like many of these trying items. And through it comes again. So I'm turning the controller the wrong way. I was trying to take the edge off the power to come through the points there. And I've slowed it down. I was going to give it a little bit more actually. So let's stop that one there. And we'll encourage this onto the inner line now. Let's close that one. And the other one there, that's all set good there. But I need to keep it on the inner line now. So I've just got to attend to these points over here. So we'll change that one and that one. So we'll bring that around and we'll just get that running on the inside. I think once it's alongside the station, I'll just attend to another couple of points, just so I can keep that running on the inner section of track. Let's make that one curved. Get in a bit tighter and listen to that nice crack. Excellent noise. And then we've got one more over here to do, haven't we? Actually, I should have gone round the other way. Let's get in tight on that one. And we'll listen to that nice snap as it straightens up. Yeah, they all make slightly different noises. It's about what they're sitting on as well. If you've got a more hollow bit than others, if you're sitting over one of the battens, they make a slightly different noise. But I always think that positive snap is all part of playing with toy trains. I know if you're playing with model railways, because I don't think real life points make this sort of sound when they change. Let's give that a little power and we'll follow that round and see if we can get some interesting views of it. I'm just going to pop the controls down. So those are all got sliding doors on the side and they're behaving themselves at the moment. You've got ladders on either end of them. Let's come this down here a bit. See if I can get down a little bit. I don't think I'm going to get quite the angle on that to get the light showing. Whoops, we do have a derailment now. Yeah, so these are very crude wheels on here. So that one, I don't know whether it's that one that started the whole process off there or whether it was another one. So we're all good there. Let's just check. I didn't do anything silly with the points. It just could be the way it presents into one of these frogs which causes the problem. Let's go one more time. get a view of the caboose going away from us here. Pan back along the length and just see how it behaves back through that set of points again. So somewhere around here, one of them took a jump, didn't it? Yeah, you've got to expect these things with these old toys. Excellent stuff. I have the box for the locomotive, but not for the wagons. So if we just have a look at the end of that there, we've got R.55 BB diesel loco. You can see the effect of tape there. So fairly thick looking sellotape there. Have a look at the insert picture there, you can see how the model looks in the box. Got no paperwork sadly with this particular model, but it is quite nice to have these boxes. So just lift off lid, box with a bit of cardboard inside, possibly a price ticket there once upon a time. So just pop that to one side. I've got the locomotive here. So it's in not too bad a condition. It's got the odd nick out of the decals and so on. So you've got the rivet there compared to the earlier one. Actually, if I just try and grab the earlier one off the railway, excuse me while I reach over here, probably it won't come undone now, will it? Yeah, there we go. I should have done that to start with. So there you can see the front of the two locomotives. So that's gained that rivet in there, and it really draws attention to the lamp. So even when the lamp's not lit up, it looks more like a headlamp, doesn't it? So it's quite nice. You can see my effort at making the decals on the front of that, and also the striations and stuff in the plastic. I think it sort of tidies the model up a bit by painting it up in red. So let's just pop that one out of the way carefully. There we go. So we've got the horns there, and you can just see this part of the chassis when you look through the windows, and it does. You see a bit of glow in the light there as well. Well, I think all in the really tidy. You can see some of the striations in the plastics there. It's the same on some of those early coaches as well. You get those sort of moulding marks within it. Sometimes it looks like a crack, and it's not. It's just I think it must have been impurities in the plastics when it's moulding. You've got some numbers there, R.55 for the locomotive and R.57 for the dummy unit. We've got the sleeved wheels with open axle boxes. So these ones all really lovely and smooth. So you've got triang under here, but if you look, they have removed, I think originally there would have been model numbers just in that section there on some of the other ones. Let me just have a look at the earlier model. Again, you can see there it has the model numbers just across in the middle section there. So they must have decided to take those out at some point. So I'm struggling to put that down without causing the rear bogey's gone funny on it. I can't put it down properly, so we'll ignore that for the moment. So we've got the ribbed wheels, or the serrated wheels, making that terrific sound on the rails as we've just heard. We haven't got the metal drive gears in this one, but yeah, quite lovely items. So I said there's been quite a number of variations of this over the years, not just for the transcontinental range, but also for the Canadian market as well. So we'll pull that to one side. I think we'll have a look over the caboose whilst it's sort of just to hand. So R.135. So I think we said that was sort of 54 to 65. Again, later variants made up into the 70s for other markets. But we've seen this one. This has been on the railway for a few weeks now. So we've got the catalogue number, just model number just underneath there as well. So quite a nice version, that one, the Mark III couplings. I'd forgotten I had the Mark III couplings, and I'd just picked it up. So I must have known it did, but there we go. So these wagons, these long box cars, are R.136, 58, 65. So this one's not in perfect condition. It's got a bit of a chip out of the door if we look at it there. And the decals, it's been in and out of the toy box, I think. So reasonably sort of grubby-ish condition, but that's sort of cleaned up. The plastics have been around a bit there, so they've been scuffed and so on. Again, door opens there, so you could have a bit of fun putting things in and out of there. And I think the ladders are a wonderful detail on these TC items. And again, all the wheels we've had, you know, over the period. We had one of them on a train that's been sitting in sidings for a while, but like all this TC stuff, I don't know. It's just because there were so many wheels on each part, each wagon, that you end up sort of putting off doing it, I suppose. So there we've got, what have we got under there? Triang, and is that 126? So we'll have a look in the catalogue and see. And we've got 136 here. So maybe the basic mould was used for another item, but at the moment it escapes me which one that is. So we'll pop that to one side. The brown one, when I came to getting this one out of the box to clean it up a little bit, had one of the wheels was actually broken. If you look at the insert picture there, you can see it was already broken. So I had to find a replacement, although I can't remember which one is now replaced, but that's all cleaned up relatively well. I think they look quite smart in the brown livery. So it'll be it's an interesting colour, but it sort of really works as a colour for this particular series, especially with the colour of the topography on the side of the wagon. Just pop that down. And then this, so perhaps a more obvious colour for the transcontinental range, but I think actually it's a stronger looking model in the brown, isn't it? Well, that's my preference anyway. So again, we've got doors there. I think I've made an attempt at blue tack in that. I've just seen some blue tack in there to stop that one vibrating open, as these things tend to do as you're using them. So yeah, I can see it there just in the top corner there, so I won't pull that one open. Just a swift look at it running without its top on. You can see the bulb glowing away there. Motor happily turning and making a whine on the rails with those ribbed wheels. That's that all metal chassis that's bent over the motor bogie. And there's two little sort of plugs at the back there go into the bodywork. Let's see if I can get in a little bit tighter on that. See if I can retain focus. Now I'm going to fall over backwards if I spin around like that anymore. I think we'll bring that to a stop. I'm just going to grab the controls. There we go. Let's just run that backwards. I'm just going to grab the uncoupler here. We'll just have a little look at that while it's got the top off it. There you can see the sort of plastic where it's comes through the chassis to hold that box on the bottom there. So wiring looks sort of all in good shape. I think that's probably pretty much original in there. I think possibly there should have been a heat shield on that bulb, but I think it's far enough away from the plastic not to really cause it too much of an issue. So let's just pop that back there for a second. And you can see the rivet holding the bogie in there, just straight through the metalwork. There's holes in there. There's the little prongs at the back there. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, there is those holes in there. I'm not sure whether that could be used for the switcher model, where it could have the. Let's have a look over here. So it may well be the same chassis as in here. I think it probably is. And you get that light. There's a little plastic part which sits on there and plugs in. So I'll whip the top off this and have a look at the insert picture, and you'll see what I mean. You're just rambling away there. I just thought I'd throw that in. So we'll take the moment to just have a look at the inside of this bodywork here. You can see it's all painted black in there. You get the horns coming through, and then if I just turn this around, and we've got Triang's name in there, R.55 and R.57, made in England. There's quite a bit of overspray, the red paint there, so it had come through before the window section was inserted into it. It's always quite nice to see on the inside of these things. That's why I tend to try and show it, because I know when I'm watching videos of things, I'm very interested to see how these things look, how they hold up on the inside. I've got that all back together and sitting on the rail, so I've also split the railway into two now, so we'll give this some power and see if we can get this to run away. See if that behaves itself. And keep an eye on those wagons. And as it comes around again, we'll get the other single-ended diesel, which is running the opposite way around the railway today. And we'll get that underway as well. It's going to make a tremendous noise, so let's give some power to that. This one will probably pick up a little bit of pace as it warms up, as it's been stationary for a while. So we can get both locomotives in the same shop potentially here. Yeah, see what's happening over my right shoulder. See if we can get them both together again. Well, we've got the LED in the front of this one, and the B unit has got the power bogie in there as well. It's definitely picking up pace now. So you could have quite a few of these on the railway in the different liveries available potentially. But I think we probably should think about winding that one down a little bit, because it's just continuing to gather pace. So I'll just grab the controls here over my shoulder. Yeah, we'll just calm that one down a little bit. I think the red one's also gathering a little bit of pace here, so we'll just take the edge off that. But I think that's probably about it for this time. Thank you again for looking in, very much appreciated. If you look back again next time, see if we have something else interesting for the range to look at. Goodbye now.